talk.
Okay, now we can hear you. We can hear you now. All right, well, here we go. So we're going to have to edit that one back because apparently no one heard you for the last, I don't know, 5 minutes that we've been on.
Fine.
So, yeah,
Zack Snyder.
so there's that.
Zack Snyder. Okay.
Right, so we'll just cut. We're going to cut everything, and we're just going to start from here, which is fine. We kept everyone on ice, so we'll just start off with Zack Snyder, the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. You know, a lot of people heard what I had to say. You were unfortunately unmiked or mic'd or not mic'd. But what are your thoughts with regards to story being cohesive? Do you think that there's going to be is this going to be a failed experiment for Warner Brothers? What are your thoughts?
Isn't it? It's already a failed experiment for Warner Brothers. I mean, isn't it? I mean, financially, they expected Justice League and Batman vs. Superman to gross far more money than it actually did. So it's a failed experiment. I don't think that that's even really up for debate. That being said, I don't think that you go see superhero movies for like awesome storytelling. I mean, in my mind, I don't expect like a Martin Scorsese film whenever I'm going to see these movies. I'm going to be entertained, and I think that visually, Zack Snyder is probably one of the best in the business at visuals within film. So I think that he definitely has struggled with keeping things in a tight, cohesive, frame. Like Batman versus Superman was, I guess, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 20 minutes or so, made no freaking sense. And it wasn't until you have this extended cut of over 3 hours come out that, now the story makes sense. So I think he narratively bites off more than he can actually chew. So I kind of expect this Justice League, HBO Max thing is probably going to narratively make a lot more sense than the Justice League film, because he's going to have all this extra time. But I mean, again, I don't think he's the best at it, and I don't expect a ton, but I do expect an exciting, miniseries.
and so good point though. The miniseries piece of it is Warner Brothers is releasing it, or rather should I say HBO Max is releasing it in 4 parts, right? And so that's going to bring it in that whole like miniseries look or feel. But I think they did that recently with the Hateful Eight, the Quentin Tarantino Western film starring Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell. You've seen that one, right?
God, I couldn't even start it. I'm not
really
gonna lie. I saw the trailer for it,
wow.
And I saw how long it was.
Right.
Because it's like a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
And I truthfully am not excited enough about that to sit down and spend 4 hours watching it.
All right, fair. Hey, listen,
we actually own the movie. Like, I'm pretty sure we have it on Blu-ray, and I've never watched it.
It's to be honest with you, it is a very good movie. I thought it was excellent and very well done. It was shot beautifully in Panavision Vista lenses, and if you're into all that, I mean, it's really an awesome viewing experience.
Sure it is.
I do recommend you watch it. It is a long film, so probably would be best to check it out on Netflix. Netflix has it in those parts where it's a miniseries. Oh, you own it. Okay, you own it.
I just haven't watched it.
Well, apparently there's a longer cut, and the longer cut was what was released in Netflix, right? And it was released, and here's the funny thing. It was released in the same type of format that the Zack Snyder cut is going to be released in. So it's going to be interesting to see how that actually will it serve it well, or will it be... will it bog it down and not feel cinematic? That's going to be a really good experiment to see.
I mean, look, I love Quentin Tarantino. I don't think I've seen a movie of his that I don't enjoy, but I don't know, man. Just the time commitment on that is, to me, who the hell has that kind of time?
Listen, it's a lot of time. It's coming out on March 28th, I want to say. I believe it is on March 28th. I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure it maybe let me double check here. March 28th is what I'm hearing, which would make sense. On our slideshow, we have a few things on here that might give us a clue. So let us figure out if we can find that on here. Yeah, I don't see it on here. I'm thinking that that it's actually going to be in March. I don't know if you have access to be able to find out, but I want to make sure that we figure it out beforehand. So
Hateful Eight.
Snyder cut of the Justice League.
Oh, Snyder cut.
Not the Hateful Eight.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure what we were talking about. Snyder cut. March 18th.
Right. Okay. Excuse me. March 18th. And actually, the other film that's coming out on the last weekend of March is actually Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla. I know I talked about that with you, and I have it up on the screen here. And I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm just really excited about watching King Kong beat the living crap out of Godzilla and vice versa. So I'm really getting excited about this film and these two titans fighting together. I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but man, this is going to be really exciting.
You know, in it for this, I was gonna rewatch that King Kong film because I went on record in a previous episode of that I don't remember what happens in that film, and I turned on HBO Max to watch this movie, and their streaming service sucked so much that it kept buffering in the first minute, and I gave up and watched the freaking Mandalorian instead. I got so freaking frustrated with it.
Okay.
So I have to go back and rewatch it before this film comes out because again, I have no idea what happened in that movie.
Right. Fair enough. Well,
than doing King Kong stuff, I assume.
Yeah, it's gonna. I'm excited about watching it. I do want to ask you, what were your thoughts on WandaVision, which we have on the screen right now? What was your thoughts on the new Marvel WandaVision? Obviously, Scarlet Witch is headlining it, right? And also Vision. So, what are your initial thoughts on the first three? I believe it's 4 episodes in, right?
I haven't seen the 4th yet. I've only seen the first 3. And I'll try to keep this as spoiler free as possible for anybody who hasn't seen it. I'll do my very best. But no promises. So the first 2 episodes, during 95% of both of those episodes, I was incredibly bored.
Okay.
Because they were really laying the framework of they're in this like idyllic,
right,
American like 50s type of thing. Sitcom right, sort of situation, and so they were trying to build that, but they kept like hinting at this like underlying sinister thing, and it was in the 3rd episode that you kind of got a little bit more of a glimpse of that.
Right.
That now I'm interested. So I wouldn't say the first 3 episodes have been amazing by any means, but they have like they've tickled my interest enough to where I'm interested in seeing more of it. I will say though that they have. Marvel has so much positive equity with that brand that they can do that and release basically 2 bullshit episodes to lead to something actually happening, and people are still watching. It's kind of amazing, but the equity they have is just phenomenal. So good for them.
Listen, I saw the first 4 episodes. I won't say anything about the 4th episode, but I'm going to tell you that I actually thought it was charming. I'm just going to say charming.
Okay.
The first 3 episodes were charming. I think that you have to realize that there's going to be a payoff. I believe once you start watching episode 4, you'll start to see part of that payoff begin, and the plot begin to advance, and a little bit give us some more information on where this is headed. So,
how long we
definitely recommend it.
Maybe I'll watch that after we get done here.
I recommend it.
Look, they've got me at this point. Okay, look, let's be honest. Marvel's got me. I've seen all the stuff. We'll continue seeing all the stuff. I'm hooked. Take my money. We're watching it. It's fine.
You're like, I'm taking it. No, I hear you. All right, so now that we've talked about all that good stuff, right, I want to kind of talk to you about the big thing that we're pushing today, obviously, is that this was the first time that you've ever watched one single filmed episode of The Sopranos, and for a majority of the people that have watched The Sopranos, it's one of the best made television series of all time. It really has created, it really has established itself as as premier television, and before, great content was being churned out by all the streamers. So HBO was ahead of the game with The Sopranos when it premiered in 1999 and became really a sensation, right? And so as we walk through each episode, Kyle will be basically experiencing it for the very first time. So he's not going to know any of the characters. So what I would say to you is that if you're in the chat room, feel free to talk about the episode, but let's not spoil what's to come for Kyle. So I want to make sure that he stays fresh as he goes through this process.
Anyway, so I guess put whatever you want there.
Okay, there you go.
I have no idea what.
All right, so to begin, did you do any prep before you saw this episode, or when you went into it? I guess my question to you is, did you have any idea of what The Sopranos was about?
I knew it was a mob story. Like that's about what I knew.
Okay, so
and that you're in love with it. You're in love with it.
I didn't listen. It's not that I'm in love with it. It's such an epic and just phenomenally written show with just amazing, crazy, nutso characters, right? That, I mean, you gotta love it or not. I don't know. So I guess the big thing is that let's not waste any more time, and let's start off with one. What was your initial reactions, and then let's talk through some of the pieces of that episode. So what we're going to be doing now is talking about Sopranos episode 1, the very first episode, the pilot episode. So what were your thoughts, Kyle?
So I had to keep reminding myself when the show was made. Mm-hmm. Okay, I had, because it's very, very easy for me to watch old movies or old TV shows and try to judge them against the lens of right now. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, that being said, if I hold it up to the standard of, like, say, the first episode of Ozark, mm-hmm. Ozark is a million times better. Okay? Now, before you get all crazy, I understand that at the time, I don't think a lot of these types of shows were being made. So, understanding its place in time seems to be an important thing.
Okay.
I feel like that's fair to say.
Okay.
So I'm judging this purely on for its time in '99.
Right. And maybe you should look at it more of a period piece, since
potentially. Yeah. Potentially. But so I'm trying my very best not to judge it against some of the modern series that you see on like Netflix that are just kicking everyone's ass.
Okay.
Because they're on a different level here. Okay, so that being said, the casting of this show is very, very good. Like the people that got to play this, very, 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 very good. Okay, I think that it's remarkably good acting for a television show in the late '90s. So it's honestly some good acting for some movies that came out then too, if we're honest. So I was impressed by that. I would say that first and foremost. I think that as someone who has never been to New York or New Jersey, mm-hmm. It did kind of seem like they were being a caricature of Italian Americans in New York and New Jersey. Now, mm-hmm. I don't know if that's how people really are there. I can't say. Never mm-hmm. been. But I don't know. They seemed almost like caricatures at times. So, but once I got past that, it was well written. Like the story was good in the first episode. I was interested. The pacing was so damn slow. Oh my goodness. Okay. It was very slow. And the lighting of this show was really bad as well. Like, I kept having to turn the brightness up on the TV because I could never tell what was happening. So, for instance, in the scene where I guess it's the nephew that drives Tony Soprano around.
Chris Moltisanti.
Okay, is that his nephew?
Yes, his nephew Chris Moltisanti. I want you to say it. Say Chris
Moltisanti.
No. Chris Moltisanti.
Chris Moltisanti.
There you go. That's okay. Or otherwise known affectionately as Chrissy on the show.
Okay, I'll forget that too, but fine. Chrissy, here when he's gonna cap the guy in the back of the head in like the meat locker or whatever.
Right.
I swear to Christ, I had no idea what was going on because I couldn't see anything because the lighting was so bad. Again, I don't know if that was for the time, couldn't tell you, but it was really annoying and I hated that. So I would say it's a mixed bag for me. It's a mixed bag because I get why you feel the way you do about the show.
Well, let me
popular.
Let me stop for a second and say not just what I feel, what the entire world and America
for the entire world now.
Well, when you consider that the series throughout its entire run was Emmy nominated and Emmy won in all categories, and not only that, it had so many accolades throughout the years. I mean, unanimous. Now, does it depict Italian Americans in a very negative light? Yes. Is it about the mafia? Yes. Is it, from what I understand, is it true to life? From what everything I've read, yes. So you have to understand what you're judging here. You're not talking about saints.
No,
here.
I don't expect that. But what I'm saying is, so you're from New York originally. Is this how Italian Americans are up there?
Listen, I have no idea, okay? Because one, these when you think about Italian Americans, and now you're also thinking about mobsters portrayed on that show, you have to really just kind of go with that piece. There's good and bad, right? And so we're talking about not good people here, right?
No, but I'm just saying it seems like their depictions of things seems like stereotypes.
Well, let me explain something to you.
It doesn't feel.
All right, let me explain something to you. In the beginning of the episode, Tony, you know who Tony is, right?
The main character.
Correct. He's right. He's looking right above you. He's right above you, right?
Okay.
Okay. So listen. He is the main character. He is right now. He's not the boss of the family, but he is a he's a capo or one of the guys that have.
I said he was the Don. I thought that is the boss.
No, he's not the boss, and he's not the Don.
They refer to him as the Don of New Jersey in the pilot episode.
Right, but you have to remember that who's referring to him as the Don of.
I don't remember.
Right. See, you got to.
Who is the Don of?
Well, first of all, you got to start paying attention, and there's a few things that I need to tell you. One, you need to adjust your TV.
Who is the Don of New Jersey? Who is that person in this show?
Not him.
First episode. Who is? Who's in charge?
Right now, who's in charge is not him. It's another character who you'll find out about in the next episode. And so I don't want to reveal too much. But you just need to just keep watching, and then you'll start to understand who these characters.
This was not clear because everybody sees him walking.
Well, it wasn't.
That is.
That's the point, though. But that's the point. You're supposed to, the way Tony Soprano, carries himself. He carries himself like he's the boss of the entire family. Okay, and that will come into play as you continue to watch these episodes, right?
Okay.
And now,
right.
A few things I want to address real quickly before you move on. One, the lighting is fine. I think it was your TV that you need to adjust because the lighting is fine. They were in a darkly lit room. That was purposeful. He was in a butcher a room where they butcher live or animals or what pigs or whatever you want.
I get that, but
right, but
I watch all films on that TV and they look fine.
Okay, well
except in this show.
You need to adjust it because I can tell you I watched the episode today purposefully so I could remember what you were saying so I can actually discuss it with you. And I will tell you that I do completely disagree with the lighting. So I think you do need to make some adjustments to your TV, which you can very well do. But I think you're being glib about it, for some reason. Yeah, it's just gonna throw that out there. I'm asking you. Well, you immediately go into there's a problem with lighting. You're already talking about technical issues with this TV show.
I think there's a technical issue.
I think there's a technical issue in your TV, and you need to fix it.
I think that TV works just fine for everything else.
Okay, well, whatever.
All right. I need to get special soprano TV. That has
perhaps you do, but
because they
okay, fine. Okay. Before you go on, okay, let me just say you're wrong on that. And then the other thing too, I find it actually hysterical that you find that there are so many other shows that are currently in production that have been released that are better than that show. I find that humorous. And I find it humorous that you're willing to go on a limb and judge it based on the pilot. This was the pilot.
You wanted my reaction to the pilot. I'm telling you my reaction to the pilot.
Fair enough, but you have to judge the pilot.
No. Look, if you're gonna spend this whole time saying things like, "Oh, you have to wait to judge," you have to.
I'm not telling you.
I'm not interested.
I didn't say that.
I'm merely reacting.
You're judging the pilot. Okay, well,
I'm judging the pilot.
Okay,
yes.
all right. Well, okay. So everyone that just joined us, your episode of the House of Fandom. Sorry, he's got me a little worked up here because obviously he has an opinion on everything, and obviously the lighting wasn't to his standards. So
I like how you're like latching onto that one thing.
Well, because I find it that you would latch on to that when you were conducting a review of the first episode of The Sopranos. But listen, everyone is your right.
Everyone has judged these Zack Snyder films based on lighting too, and so I'm not allowed to judge the lighting of the show.
Fine, just judge the lighting, whatever. Let's move on. So let's go ahead and move on. So go ahead.
Do you think that there are shows right now in production that are better than what I've seen so far of The Sopranos?
Absolutely, 100%.
So Ozark's not better than The Sopranos.
Absolutely.
Stranger Things isn't better
absolutely
than The Sopranos.
Not. Absolutely
I think you are allowing nostalgia to rule your life.
Okay. Keep going, bro. Keep going. All right. Just go. Listen, they're not here for me. They're here for you.
Look, I think overall, is it better than the pilot of Breaking Bad? Yes, because that pilot was trash. So it's better than that. It was fine. I'm gonna keep watching it. Okay, so I didn't have this reaction afterwards where I'm like, "Fuck this show. I'm not watching it anymore." Okay, so take that as you will. It has interested me enough to where I will watch it. I will continue. That being said, I'm also not blown away by the pilot episode. It's fine. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. I can only tell you what I've seen. But right now, the main things that stand out to me are the fact that it seems like caricatures of Italian Americans, so it doesn't feel very genuine to me, and the pacing is really slow. So those are my two negatives. Now, that being said, whenever he's like beating the dude in front of the insurance agency, I thought that was pretty exciting. I'm all about that. I thought some of that stuff was really cool. A lot of fun. I'm sadistic, apparently. Fair enough. So I think there's some good and some bad. That's my ruling on this show after seeing one episode. Okay, so I don't know why you're all up in arms about my take.
I'm not up in arms. I just find it very interesting that your taste of television is predicated on when it was filmed. Like, because let me, if I may, earlier you said, correct me if I'm wrong, it's good for, I guess, things made in the late 90s. I mean, so like already you have a chip on your shoulder that anything that was made in the 90s or rather 2000s, early 2000s, because it was premiered in the fall of 99, and then it carried on into the 2000s. It just seems to me that you already have this kind of, I don't know, preconceived notion about the quality of this show.
No, I think that if you look at the way that TV shows are made now, for the most part, the more successful ones are damn near like equality as how they narratively unfold. So when I tell you that I'm having to look at it through a different lens, I have to understand it as a piece in time. For example, one of the best shows that I think in history is MASH, which if you aired that now, doesn't go anywhere, doesn't do anything. But if you understand it as a piece of when it was released in time and understand it in context of time, it becomes one of the greatest shows in television history. So I think you can't look at it outside of its time.
Right. But I also think too what you're doing is you're looking at it from a total experience, right? And we have both agreed that you would review each episode and make your final determination of the entirety of The Sopranos once you've completed every season, which is about right around 6 seasons. Okay, so I think in fairness, it's fair to say that you.
I'm undecided.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, you could say, all right, well, let's go through the characters. What did you think about the character of Tony Soprano, played by the late James Gandolfini?
He was fine.
All right. I mean, did you hate him?
No, but he was fine.
Okay. What about Dr. Melfi, his shrink? What did you think about that element? What did you think about that element?
I didn't like her. I thought her acting was pretty terrible, if I'm honest. I thought the scenes where he was with her talking, like, it felt like he was giving a pretty good performance, and she was just, like, reading cue cards from behind his head or something. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of her.
So you are not a fan of Lorraine Bracco, who is considered one of the finest actresses.
I have never heard that name in my life.
Have you seen Goodfellas before?
I have not seen Goodfellas.
Okay. No. Okay. Listen, fair. We've got to definitely get you into some of these films that were made fair enough when you were not even born. I think it came out in 1990. Were you born then?
I was 2 years old.
Okay, fair enough. I was a teenager. I saw it in the theater.
You just outed yourself as far as how old you are.
No
by the
problem.
Way. I didn't out you at all.
It's okay.
You outed yourself.
That's okay.
Well,
it's all right.
I don't know anything about her. I can only tell you what I saw in the episode, and I didn't think she was very good in the episode.
Okay. All right. Listen, that's okay. Well, listen, I want to just take a moment to thank the listeners out there. Moira, I appreciate you calling out that Kyle was a mime earlier, and so we got that fixed up. I also want to thank Hernan for joining us as well, and I want to also ask you, Kyle, from Moira, what are your thoughts on Riverdale?
Haven't seen it.
Okay, well, there you go. He hasn't seen it. Okay, let's just move on back to The Sopranos. What did you think of the character of Chris Moltisanti?
Seemed like a caricature of Italian Americans.
Okay, have you met Paulie Walnuts yet?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, he has the silver stripes in his hair.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, so you haven't met that character yet. Okay, so there's a lot of characters you haven't met yet. Have you met Junior yet?
Oh, Uncle Junior?
Yes, Uncle June. Yes.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts on Uncle June?
I don't know, man. I think like that guy and the nephew are the two that I feel like you're playing a part right now. I don't feel like they're like regular, like they're a person. I can't buy into that they're a real person.
Well, you got to remember that, in the history of mobsters and how they're depicted in film, you're gonna have characters. They're not like your normal, average Joe, right? I mean, they're gonna be kind of out there. They're gonna be crazy. I mean, let's be honest here. What did Tony Soprano do in one of the first scenes when he was talking to his psychiatrist, Dr. Melfi? He starts talking about how his day went. And in the course of talking about his day went, we're seeing how his day went. And you want to describe what his day was like, Kyle?
Well, he had some normal stuff, but then he also was like beating the shit out of some guy from an insurance agency that owed him money.
Did he not run him over though? He did
hit him with his car.
Okay, so I think it's fair to say he's not your normal guy, right?
But I get you. But what I'm saying is that you have to relate to an audience who isn't freaking mobsters.
Oh, right.
Guess what? Look,
right.
So what I'm saying is, as a person who's not in the mob, newsflash for everyone, I'm not in the mob. I live in Safety Harbor, Florida. Definitely not mob territory. So for that to be said, I personally look at that and I go, I don't believe it. I don't believe what those two individuals are selling. I'm not believing it yet.
Okay, that's
maybe
fair.
I changed my mind.
Now keep in mind too that you don't have, obviously, the people that actually watched the show, which was groundbreaking and like record breaking, a series. You got to remember that the whole point is that you are going through the eyes of these different characters, right? These richly written and crazy characters throughout the arc, right, of this entire show. So I really think that, obviously you have some, you're undecided. So at least you're still open to the series, right? And I think that as series grow, I think let me ask, is it a fair statement to say that you have watched series grow and have after a few episodes really started to get a vested interest in the characters and the show? Is that a fair statement?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that there's a possibility that may happen here. I mean, anyone that I've talked to that have watched this show has thought it was a phenomenal show and one of the best ever made.
And possibly, look, you're asking me to judge, to react to what I'm seeing in one episode. So what I'm saying is that in one episode, this is how I feel about it.
Fair.
That being said, it could change. I don't know. Things could improve over time, or maybe things make more sense in time. I don't know. I'm just telling you that I'm definitely still undecided. This was not the show where I'm like one episode and, all in, but I'm also not like, fuck this show either.
All right, well, all right, so you have homework. You got to watch episode 2 so that when we roll back next Monday and post Super Bowl and we discuss it, let's really dive into, the characters and as well as, what are your thoughts? Is it getting better for you? You know what I mean? Because I definitely want, for me, it's important not to just take one episode. And I'm talking to the listeners out there because I really believe that Kyle, in my opinion, will start to, at least recognize that these characters are very interesting and it does bring you in. So, again, in fairness, the pilot episode is what sold HBO to bring the show to series. So I think that, as the show continues to, to play out throughout this season, mm-hmm. I think that you personally may, change your initial thoughts because it may start to bring things together for you. But again, I could be totally wrong.
Look, I
could be totally wrong.
I'm open to it, but here's what I don't want to have happen. So I'm open to, maybe this becomes my new favorite series. I don't know. It's still way too early to tell here. What I don't want is to get through the first season and be like, Clark, I don't like it. And then you come back to me with this Breaking Bad argument of, oh, well, you got to watch the second season. And I'm just like, kill me now. Well, how many seasons of this thing do I have to watch if I'm not getting into it? That's my question. How many do I have to watch if I'm not getting into it?
Well, I do believe that in fairness, you should give you should give it at least 2 seasons because because there's an arc that happens from now until the end of season 2. And so I think that you just really need to invest in it and just realize that you're watching about 22 episodes. So like a full season when you think about network TV because they came out in 13 one-hour episodes. So I really think that you just need to invest that because a lot happens within the first through the second season. I feel like that's a contained arc that happens between then. So, again, I feel confident that you will recognize that this is a great show. And I believe that, hey, you are correct. And I need to validate the fact that you did not grow up in that era, right? As far as like when the show came out. And, I was obviously a lot older than you. And so for me, it was like prime time, right? And so for you, you're revisiting it. But I also know that you have a taste that spans beyond generations. So it'll be interesting to see, how this plays out for you.
We'll see. I'm open to it.
But you do need to start learning the characters' names. Chris Moltisanti is Tony Soprano's nephew.
I need you to understand something. You know how I've referenced Ozark a lot of times on this show. I love that show. I have no idea what anyone's name is on that show.
Okay, fair enough. I will keep. Listen, I'll keep
you.
everybody honest here, and maybe even have some visuals, right? But obviously we have a whole host of different characters. Have you met Tony Soprano's mother yet?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think of Livia? That's the Tony Soprano's mom.
All I know is this. I love my mom. If my mom's watching, love you and all. Thank you for not being so annoying. Because, oh my God. Within the first 2 minutes of this lady on screen, I'm like, oh my goodness. Because I was just thinking of myself sitting there talking to that individual, and I'd be so annoyed. So Tony Soprano might be actually a saint here. I don't know, because, geez, lady's complaining about everything. At the end of the first pilot episode, she's having this conversation with Uncle Junior, where they're conspiring against him, against Tony Soprano now. Dude.
Okay, so you are paying attention. That's interesting because I was paying attention. Listen, the mom is extremely dysfunctional. The uncle's dysfunctional, but the entire family dynamic is dysfunctional, and I think that's where you really start to, appreciate the crazy that you're watching. And so, again, I implore you to give it a chance. I think you are going to, and I hope you will, because I know that when you continue to watch it, it will become a lot clearer to you that this was a very what's the word I'm looking for? Very influential TV series that influences even the show that you love and profess to love, which is Ozark. And there are so many parallels. When I say that there's so many parallels to Ozark, in fact, if you were to recent interviews with the cast of Ozark as well as the writers and creators, there was a lot of influence in the narratives that the Sopranos created, and with that whole family, dynamic.
Possibly, I will say Ozark episode 1, which again, recommendation from you. I was hooked after episode 1. So
well, listen,
we'll say that.
I haven't. Hopefully, you can appreciate that this is something that you just have to, continue down that journey. I know the listeners are excited about where you go. I want to just move away from the Sopranos, if you don't mind, and I want to jump into real quickly the Mandalorian, because I know that, and only because this was another example of you hating the entire season. But I am curious, where are you as far as episodes and season, and what are your thoughts so far as you move into season 2?
Okay, so I legitimately have only continued watching the show into the second season because of you.
Right.
Okay. So I just want you to know that I have watched it strictly because of you. So feel loved and feel warm and fuzzy
Thank
now.
you.
Because
Thank you. I
honestly,
appreciate it.
Otherwise I wouldn't have made it past the 4th episode in season 1.
Okay, fair enough.
I kid you not. I don't know who's writing this show. I know Jon Favreau is doing a lot of as the showrunner.
I think it's Dan Filoni, which is part of the producing.
Know. I swear to Christ, the first season was so bad. Narratively made no sense. It was here. It was everywhere. Not a good season. It looks cool. The visuals and the budget look good. So don't get me wrong, but narratively makes no sense. Season 2, they're doing better through 3 episodes. 3 episodes in, they're doing better. Things seem to make a little bit more sense. A plot is occurring, and we take step after step in a main storyline versus just all these crazy side quests that have no connection back to the original story. So that seems to be doing better. They definitely have a bigger budget too. The effects look really good. Visually, it looks good. So I'm more into it now. At this point, though, everybody's acting like the second season of The Mandalorian is the second coming of Christ. I don't see that. It's fine. It's okay. We're watching it. I don't see what the hype is about yet.
Okay. I mean, listen, that's a fair statement. I thoroughly enjoyed season 2. I thought it was definitely way more coherent in story-wise as far as moving the story forward in season 2. And I thought there was a lot of rich characters that were introduced from the Star Wars universe in season 2 as well, which is another reason why I thought it was really, really superior than the first season.
Do you remember what you promised me about the second season of The Mandalorian?
I said that you will definitely, by the end of season 2.
No.
What did I say?
No. You said season 2 will redeem how bad the third trilogy of Star Wars films were.
Yes, I did.
You said would redeem.
I did say that.
So that's a high.
Well,
claim.
I mean, listen. I didn't say it was going to be redeemed in the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes.
See, 3 episodes to be fair.
Okay, I'm saying it needs to be. You need to watch the entire series, and then
I'm gonna watch the whole season.
When you look at it from that perspective, then I think you'll have a better understanding of, hey, I liked it, and this is why. You know what I mean?
I'm watching it. I'm invested now because of you, so I'm gonna finish the second season. But I just want everyone to know what was said, so that when I get to the end, we're gonna find out if it was redeemed or not.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, I like I said, I really think give it a chance. Moving back to The Sopranos, I think that you've got a lot of ground to cover through this first season. So a lot does happen in this first season, especially with Tony Soprano, the main character, and all the other characters that are surrounding this main character. So I'm definitely looking forward to upcoming episodes of the House of Fandom, where you and I, unpack the Sopranos episode that you watched. I think it's going to be interesting to go on this journey with you, and to see if maybe you change your mind. Maybe you say to me, "My God, this is brilliant," or you may be a stubborn guy and be like, "This is shit. I don't like it. I don't want it."
Look, you have a history of converting me, because I wasn't interested really in seeing Ozark. You forced me to watch it. And now it's one of my favorite shows. So it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, definitely a great show. And that's something we'll definitely have to talk about in future upcoming shows. What else? Anything else you want to talk about before we call it a night? I mean, we've covered a lot of ground. Obviously, the Snyder Cut is something that I'm interested. We are definitely going to need to talk about that Snyder Cut. You and I need to review the Snyder Cut. We need to go into details of it, and I think we really should cover it in the episodic nature of it, because I think that would be the best way to review it. But I am looking forward to doing a 4-part review of the Snyder Cut, and then ultimately comparing it to what was released, and just to see did it really change our opinions of the Justice League movie and the whole Snyderverse, or was it just more of more style and less substance?
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. That we will. If you're just joining us, if you like what you're hearing, please like and subscribe to Lights Up Productions. Kyle and I created this platform and this channel to talk about movies, pop culture, but also to highlight sports with our brother or sister show, as Kyle loves to so affectionately name them, the Townie Sports with Vic and Sammy. And then, of course, we always love to do joint shows together, where we just unpack a bunch of crap and a bunch of fun stuff. From a sports perspective, obviously the Super Bowl is this week in Tampa, and again, we will be unpacking a lot. Please tune in to the Townie Sports on Wednesday at 8 p.m.-ish, and a special episode where all 4 of us will join together to have a pre-Super Bowl party of sorts on Saturday night, probably right around the same time. This depends, but we look forward to talking more and just unpacking a lot of movie fandom. Anything else you want to say before we close shop?
No, I'm good.
All
Good
right.
chat.
Hey, great chat. I really like talking to you today about The Sopranos, and I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing your opinion on episode 2. So this is Clark on the check-in for the House of Fandom, and my co-host Kyle signing off for the night. And hey, if you haven't had a chance, take a look at this song or listen to this song that's coming up. It's by our very own Kyle. What was the name of that song again, Kyle?
It's called From Within. It will be out on all streaming platforms on February 5th.
Ladies and gentlemen, From Within. Ladies and gentlemen, From Within. Again. Here I thought we were playing it. It's playing now.
Okay.
And we're going to stay on until the song's over. Good show, man, and I think we definitely will. It'll be interesting to see how the next episode goes with episode 2.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hope I have this really adverse reaction to Sopranos because I think it'll be hilarious if I'm just like shitting on the show. So I told Tori last night, I was like, I'm really like totally hate this. It's gonna be so much better content if I hate this show.
You can hear us, so we better be quiet.